This is Armed American Radio's Daily Defense.
Armed American Radio's Daily Defense. Because they don't want me to, that's why I do it.
Presented by the National Rifle Association. From the CZ Studios.
They're never going to stop us here.
Here is your host, the loudest conservative voice in America fighting the enemies of freedom, Mark Walters.
Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. Armed American Radio's Daily Defense from the CZ Studios begins right now. How the heck are you on it's a garbage day here at the ranch today, Greg? How are you, brother?
Not too bad.
Hanging in there? Doing good? Hanging in?
Yeah. Doing the usual. It's Wednesday, top of the hill.
Oh, I tell you what, man. There's a lot of news going on out there today, too. And being in talk radio and at a news network as well. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that yet. Did you hear about all the news breaking today?
You know what? I've heard nothing.
Okay. Guys, it's going to be one of those days today. It really, truly is. We're going to Google some gun control for you today. And we're going to cover ICE. We're going to talk a lot about ICE and what's going on and the Democrats' reaction to what's happening because, ladies and gentlemen, I'm here to tell you the Democrats are putting this country in a very perilous place right now, Greg. And we're going to kind of walk down that road a little bit today, okay? Because I think we would be remiss if we did not. It's pretty much that simple. But let's say this. Guys, I think we're on Facebook for you. We've got all kinds of brand new, really expensive equipment that we're going to be hooking up over the next couple days. Cameras and everything else, so bear with us. X is unavailable for us today. That's because of X, not because of us. I think we're on Facebook right now. I'd have to go and look on Facebook, but I don't want to do that while I'm doing this. And Greg, I'll let you tell that we're live everywhere else except there. So, take it away and we'll get started.
Sure, you can also watch us over on YouTube and Rumble. Just search for Armed American Radio with Mark Walters. You can head over to armedamericanradio.org or .com, hit that menu icon, then select your watch live or listen live option. And lastly, to join our live chat, just download Telegram, create your profile, and search for Armed American Radio Conversations.
Thanks, guys. And by the way, this is all brought to you by the National Rifle Association. You can visit the National Rifle Association and join us, please, at nra.org/AAR. It's real simple to do. More about all of our great partners coming up in just a few moments. So, Greg, let's talk a little bit about what's going on at ICE because tensions are very high right now in Minnesota. And Governor Walz, even to refer to the guy as governor anymore is a joke.
Yeah.
Isn't it? Is it just me?
Well, we've got a lot of governors and mayors that are just jokes in their positions.
Just buffoon central going on up there. Now, I watched the hearings today, as much of it as I could stomach. And I can't say what I want to say on FCC-controlled airwaves. I'm that fed up with what I'm seeing. I am fed up with the Democrats on just about every single front, Greg, on every single front. And I'm not sure what that means.
Well, I think it's obvious that everything that has been funding the Democrats for quite some time has been fraud and abuse through our federal government. And now that that's being cut off, they are losing their minds, and they are out willing to do any and everything they can in order to stop the reclamation of our country and to get our fiscal wallet in order for this country itself. And that means that they no longer get the credit card with no limit.
You can always follow the money in politics, right? Well, when you follow this money trail, we know where it goes. But I'm going to go back to that meme I talked about yesterday. I wake up, Democrats commit crimes, GOP gets outraged, nothing happens. I wake up, Democrats commit crimes, GOP gets outraged, nothing happens. I wake up, and the cycle continues every single day. Now, the Democrats are pushing this country to the brink. They have been for a long time. But their sheer hatred of Donald Trump, and I want to remind people, we have 3 years left of Donald Trump. And you look what they did back in his first term, look where they are today. And what do you expect to see happen over the course of the next 3 years? You already have tensions flaring. Now, ask yourself this question. Let's start at the very beginning. Why are tensions flaring in Minneapolis? Why are they flaring in Chicago? Why are they flaring anywhere else that Democrats control in Democrat-run cities? Because Trump is there taking care of business. And they hate it. In fact, if you want proof of that, look no further than Washington, D.C. We welcome what they did. Now, that's a Democrat mayor that's got it together, quite frankly. Don't really, when it comes to guns, you know how we feel about that city. Have sued him into compliance on more than one occasion. No fans of the D.C. mayor. However, in this topic, in this context, she knew she needed help. She also knew that there was nothing she could do about it, so she was smart enough to figure out, I think I'm just going to have to go along to get along because I need the federal government here in the District of Columbia. And it was a smart move on her part. Greg, would you agree with that?
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, so we have to give her some credit where some credit is due. We're going to be fair to her, there's no doubt. And crime dropped radically in Washington, D.C., and has stayed at a fairly low level and will. So what is it the Democrats are afraid of when ICE is removing criminals? That they
Our voter base.
attack with a vehicle and one of them gets shot and killed. Here's what Governor Walz had to say about it. And I say Governor Walz. Let's just call him buffoon. Let's just call him what he is and stop beating around the bush here. Let's just
Tampon Timmy.
Let's just call him what he is. Okay? He has already threatened to bring National Guard or to have National Guard ready in Minnesota. For what?
Awesome.
You know what Mayor Jacob Frey said? Frey?
Yeah.
Frey? Yeah. Oh, yeah. There you go. Awesome. Look, I'm going to make a controversial statement right now. I'm going to bet you, and we don't know these numbers. This is just an educated guess based on what we're seeing. But I can promise you, based on the videos I've seen in cities across the country where Donald Trump is cleaning up nearly 4 years of an open border that was destroying our cities. While Donald Trump cleans up that mess, Greg, we've seen the videos of what ICE has been up against in these Democrat-run cities. I can promise you there's been more than one occasion that ICE has been justified in firing on these protesters who have been attacking them. I guarantee that.
Saw the video.
Yeah, I'm talking about the ones we haven't seen. You know it's happened.
Sure.
You know it's out there, and you know they've restrained themselves. They've shown tremendous restraint. Maybe it's time to no longer show tremendous restraint. If you're justified in saving your life, do it. Maybe someone will get the message. Maybe someone will get the message. Although it's hard to get the message across to these people who feel and don't think. So you have Jacob Frey, also another commie. Think about this, ladies and gentlemen. The people we're talking to all have communist, socialist sympathies, all of them. And that would account for every Democrat for the most part, save for Fetterman. I got to go back to Fetterman.
Yeah.
Guy has really surprised me, honestly. But Jacob Frey told ICE to get the F out of Minneapolis. Rejects Department of Homeland Security self-defense statement. So according to Jacob Frey, if you drive a vehicle towards an ICE agent to do them harm and get shot in the process, it's Homeland Security and ICE's problem, not yours, and you need to get the F out of my city. Wonder how he felt about Charlie Kirk's public murder.
Oh, I'm sure it's on his Twitter somewhere or on his X somewhere.
Yeah, that stuff doesn't age well for the Democrats. None of this is going to age well for the Democrats. And I forget, there was a buffoon, and somebody who, I don't know, I guess had like 2 million Twitter followers going out there running their mouths on Twitter about how Trump is doing everything for the world, supposedly threatening the world, and doing nothing at home, and has the audacity to put a photograph up or a video up on the X post that he put out of drug addicts in the streets in homeless encampments as the video was panning along the roads. What he failed to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, that was a Democrat-run city. As a result of Venezuelan drugs moving, this was all part of Maduro's plan. That's what he was doing with his gangs and his infiltration in this country, was providing the means for those people to be the way they are. In other words, drug-addicted fools who are killing themselves and destroying their own lives, and in the process making every one of our cities, Democrat-run cities, unsafe. And it wasn't just me that responded in kind with, well, you forgot to mention that those are Democrat-run cities, number one. You also forgot to mention that the mayors of those cities are resisting Trump's efforts, and the places where Trump has been and is cleaning it up have seen and reaped the benefits, the rewards of that. Maybe you ought to have a conversation with Washington, D.C. and D.C.'s mayor instead of telling ICE, the federal government. Now, remember, when the mayor of Minneapolis says that, he's saying that about the federal government, ladies and gentlemen. Get the F out, he says. That's not self-defense. Let me remind you that ICE is law enforcement, ladies and gentlemen. And if you go after law enforcement, you had better expect to reap what you sow. Unbelievable. The country's in a very terrible place right now. Every single bit of it being brought on. They'll blame Trump, but that's not true. Every bit of it being brought on by them who are literally Hades, just hating Donald Trump. TDS is real, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be back. We'll Google some gun control. Don't go away. Welcome back, guys. About 20 seconds.
Five.
The following segment of Armed American Radio is proudly being brought to you by the National Rifle Association. Help us defend freedom by visiting nra.org/AAR and join today. Welcome back to the show.
Yeah, welcome back to the show, ladies and gentlemen. CZ Studios fired up for you. Mark Walters in the chair. On-air light is blinking out there like crazy. Patriot Mobile microphone lit up for you at the Patriot Mobile Command Center. Greg in Dallas, Texas is with us. Guys, join the NRA, please. We need your help over there. We talked a little bit about the lawsuit. Is the NRA suing itself? No, the NRA is not really suing itself. The foundation is separate. But what I will tell you is that you've got a lot of the old Wayne cronies over there at the foundation that, for whatever reason, just will not let go. And I absolutely, for one, love what the NRA is doing by standing up and being as transparent as possible and saying, look, we're not going to put up with this anymore. You know, and I get my personal view on it is that people within the NRA likely knew that the media would jump on something like this, you know, and use it to their advantage to do what? Continue to attack the NRA. And my guess, I don't know this, I'm just saying this because I get the feeling that there's still a lot of folks out there that are angry about what happened with Wayne LaPierre. You know, I hated what happened, but I've seen from the inside what's going on now. And the organization is the real deal and fixing themselves. And this is evidence of that. So if you haven't gone out and looked at that, just Google NRA sues NRA Foundation and read the lawsuit. It'll anger you if you're a member of the NRA, and you'll be damn glad, like I am, that they're taking the steps necessary to do what they have to do to clean up. Look, there's lingering trash, okay? And sometimes when you're, you know, I think I said this yesterday, Greg, when you take the trash out, sometimes you drop one, you know? Sometimes there's trash on the street. Sometimes the garbage truck doesn't get everything. Sometimes it leaves a mess behind. Well, what do you got to do? You got to go in and clean it up, and the NRA is cleaning it up, and they're doing it transparently so that you can see it. And I, for one, applaud that. I absolutely applaud that decision. Get rid of the old baggage, get rid of the old garbage once and for all. And there's still some lingering garbage out there that needs to be taken out. Trash still needs to be taken out. Befitting conversation here at Garbage Day for Garbage Day at the ranch. I don't know, Greg, am I wrong on that assessment?
No, it's pretty spot on.
Your answer was supposed to be longer because I just took a sip of the sugar-free Red Bull. I was expecting you to talk a little bit longer than that, but that's okay. I think it's wonderful. So let's go to let me go to Waltz for just a second because it's just too easy. But the governor said Waltz, buffoon, said he has activated the state's emergency operations center and issued a warning order, in quotes, to prepare the Minnesota National Guard. We have soldiers in training and prepared to be deployed if necessary. How do you take that when you hear that? Greg, I'm asking you, and ladies and gentlemen, I'm asking you to think about the answer to that too. But when you hear this buffoon, who you've watched for the last several years, make an utter fool of himself, you know what his policies are, you know what his agenda is. So when you hear that from a guy like this, who should not only have stepped down, but likely may be facing prosecution at some time down the road, hopefully, but enough so that he's decided to back out of his third-term run for governor of Minnesota. That's because he knows he can't win it, or he would have stayed in it because these are arrogant elitists that hate your guts. They're all in it for themselves. And that includes a lot of Republicans, too. But we're focusing on this clown, okay? But he saw the writing on the wall. He knew, hey, I don't think I'm going to win this. I'm going to get out. I'm going to get out now while I can. In the meantime, I'm going to seek more gun control for my people to be safe. So when you hear a guy like this say, after everything he has said and done, that we have soldiers in training prepared to be deployed if necessary. This is a guy who's talked about Trump needing to be impeached when it was brought up. He had a press conference earlier today, Waltz did. I watched a little bit of that. That he said, over my dead body, am I going to resign? He said, in fact, it should be Trump that should be resigning because Trump's not protecting criminals. He is.
Yeah, sure. I think we're going to run into a scenario where Trump can't really do anything too drastic until that he has proof that he can't enforce federal law. And then he can federalize the National Guard or invoke the Insurrection Act. And then the National Guard will be federalized. And so any National Guard group that is on the ground, pushing back on ICE as they're in communities, pulling all of these scumbags out of these neighborhoods that are obviously here illegally and committing all kinds of fraud to the tune of millions and tens of millions and hundreds of millions of dollars, to billions, correct. Until it gets incredibly sideways, Trump cannot initiate any kind of an act that would allow him to federalize the Guard and then use them within states in order to conduct law enforcement actions. We're going to see a lot more of this, and it's going to be created by these governors. They are being paid behind the scenes to push back as far and hard as they can until they can get the reaction from the federal government that they want. Then they're going to cry foul, and then they're going to start crying in Congress. And it wouldn't surprise me if the spineless, gutless Republicans don't follow suit and start doing the same thing. And then we have some serious problems within our House or within our Senate, as if we don't already. And we're going to end up seeing a lot more chaos and a lot more incivility in the streets and against the general population, amongst the general population, I should say. And it's going to be interesting because there's a lot of things that can be done, but there has to be thresholds that have been crossed in order for action to have been taken. And it's going to be an interesting year in 26.
Let's break that. Let's go there for a second. I'm glad you brought all this up because you're right. I agree with you wholeheartedly. Greg heard me say this during a break, but I believe we're looking at another summer of love. And I think the threat of that gets more likely as each subsequent year of Trump's administration continues. Now, remember, we're only 1 year into Trump. 1 year. And these people have lost their ever-loving minds. Whatever they had left of their minds to begin with, they've absolutely lost. Mm-hmm. Many of you work in Democrat-run cities. There's a lot of people in my neighborhood that commute to Atlanta. Why? I don't know. They do. Okay, that's where their jobs are. I say why. I don't have to do it. But a lot do.
They may have a Democrat-run job.
Yeah, but maybe. That's possible. Or even if they don't. The office of those corporations are based in the Metro Atlanta area, and those people have to drive through the nonsense every day. And here's my recommendation to each and every one of you. I hope to God you're armed. Stay armed. There is going to be a problem in there already is a problem in Democrat-run cities. Now, it is very difficult, Greg, to wrap your head around why, and Trump has articulated this as well. He says, I don't understand why they're not seeking our help. Their cities are falling apart. So hold on to that Trump comment, I don't understand why they don't seek our help. We're going to answer that question for you. But it is very difficult to wrap your head around why they won't, but there is an answer to it, Greg. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I wanted to point out briefly that all of this is happening in states that are not constitutional carry. And it would be interesting to see, 30, what cities in states that have constitutional carry participate in this kind of shenanigans, pushing back against, potentially their red state governor or against the federal government, and claiming that they're going to use some kind of local enforcement to rebuff federal enforcement.
Yeah, there's so much to unpack here. Remember what you just said, because I'll likely forget it as I'm forming some opinions in real time with you, ladies and gentlemen, over the break. I want to go back to what Trump said, and then we'll tackle that issue. We're going to get to Googling gun control in just a few minutes. But in the meantime, there's still a lot to talk about here, particularly if you're one of those people that works in a Democrat-run cities, in one of these Democrat-run cities. We'll be back right after the break. Don't go away. Mics are up. I'm looking forward to getting the new equipment hooked up, likely overnight tonight.
Yeah, let's just hope there's not some updates and some.
Oh, there will be, but I'll have plenty of time. I picked it up earlier this morning finally, but.
Well, I was thinking more or less some compatibility issues with your system that you use to run video through.
Well, if there is, we'll know soon enough. We can resort back to the old one, which, by the way, guys, we're on that one now. We're just upgrading everything. It takes a lot of time to build this stuff out. It's not something you do overnight, unless you're sitting on, bags of Democrat stolen funds buried underneath your house. Yeah, the answer to Trump's question is easy. We're going to go there when we come back. He says, I don't understand why they don't seek our help. They should be seeking our help. He's correct about that on the surface. They should be.
But the problem is,
well, hold the thought. Let's not let it out now during the break. And bring that back to the airwaves when the stations can pick it up. So some fun stuff. You guitar players out there. Greg, you'll like this. I picked up this device called a GP5 from Valiton. If you've ever heard of it, it's an amp modeler and a pedal. Doubles as both.
30.
Plug your guitar into it and plug your headphones into it and crank this thing up. I set it to the Marshalls. $59, best investment I've ever made. I mean, this thing's unreal. Input about 3 inches long, about 1 inch tall and 1 inch wide, and extremely powerful. Lots of fun. If you like to play guitar, highly recommend it.
The following segment of Armed American Radio's Daily Defense is being brought to you by Patriot Mobile. Visit patriotmobile.com/AAR and use the AAR promo code to get free activation today. Welcome back to the show.
Yeah, welcome back to the show. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm holding up, if you're watching on your devices or television sets, a Patriot Mobile phone activated. You can do the same thing just by simply visiting patriotmobile.com/AAR and take advantage of all the great discounts that they offer over there. You've got corporations out there that support these Democrat initiatives that we're talking about. Why would you give them your money in today's day and age? They've got enough of your money. Illegitimately. Why would you legitimately give it to them so that they can support them? Don't do it. Go to a company that supports your values and your rights and your freedoms and your Constitution. And not only supports it, but fights for it. Shows up at every single event, every single convention, every single trade show. That's the company I want my money to go to. Hence why this is a Patriot Mobile activated phone. Battery's dead on it right now, which is a good thing. Good. I hope the battery stays dead for a couple days. I hate these phones. But at least I know when it's on that this is a Patriot Mobile phone, and you could do the same thing. PatriotMobile.com. Use the AAR promo code. Go to PatriotMobile.com/AAR. Take advantage of it. And while you're there filling that out and talking with them, have yourself a cup of Blackout coffee. Why would you not do that? Why would you go to the grocery store and buy the Canadian coffee? I bought some of that when I ran out, about 2 weeks ago. I mean, it's out of coffee in the morning. It's not on the day I really wanted a cup of coffee. And what was it called? Tim Hortons or something like that? #1 selling coffee in Canada. And I went, okay. What was buy one, get one? So I took it. Yeah, Blackout coffee's a lot better, ladies and gentlemen. It's not grocery store junk that's been sitting around forever. It's the real deal. It's roasted fresh, and it shows up at your door for free. And it supports Jared at Guns and Gadgets. It supports Armed American Radio. and it supports every single gun rights organization that you belong to or should belong to, because they donate to every single one of them that matter. Every single one of them, ladies and gentlemen, not just one, but every single one of them. It's a great company run by people who support your right to bear arms. And while you're at it, make sure to subscribe to Jared's channel over at Guns and Gadgets as well. Those people do great work. Jared does amazing work, and you're hearing him regularly on the show now. We're thrilled to have him around. Great to be partnered with him. But you can find them and all of our partners at armedamericanradio.com, armedamericanradio.com. Please support them all. budsgunshop.com's got you covered. Goat Guns got you covered. And we've got some new stuff getting ready to pop here in the next couple of weeks as well. We'll tell you about that coming up. Greg, we're talking about Donald Trump and him asking the question, and I believe he was asking the question rhetorically. Yeah. I don't understand why they don't want our help. Well, there's an answer to that question. On the surface, you think to yourself, yeah, why don't they? Because that's not what this is about, ladies and gentlemen. It's not about keeping their city safe. It's never been about keeping their city safe. It's been about feeding at the trough and stealing your money for decades. And when their cities have poop maps, they get more dollars that they can then Minnesota Somaliize and put in their own pockets. And Trump knows the answer to that question. It's a rhetorical question, no question about it. But the bottom line is, ladies and gentlemen, it is hard if you think on the surface and don't dig any deeper. Why don't they? Well, because by doing so, they've exposed their own agenda that sucks. Not only to the people out, in their own state and in their own cities that they control, but around the rest of the country. It does them no good to say, hey, feds, come on in here and clean up the mess in this city that has been run by my party for a century. Doesn't work for them. Now, I'm pretty sure that Donald Trump, Greg, is well aware of that, and that the question was asked rhetorically. But again, on the surface, when you think about it, that's exactly what's happening. And you brought up some other good points as well, too, when it comes to Trump and the rest of them. But we have sat back enough. They're willing to use violence, ladies and gentlemen. Walt's threatening use of the National Guard. That brings up a question. Wonder how many will support him over Trump.
Well, I think what we're also not necessarily overlooking, but I think it's not being stated, is Trump asked that question, hopefully putting it into the heads of the dull reporters standing around barking off stupid questions from their editorial boards. But the answer behind it is it's because they're not asking for help because they are behind it. They don't want help fixing what they are doing right now.
Well, that's the trough we're talking about. They've been feeding themselves off of this, and there's evidence of that.
Well, and they don't want their big money donors, like Soros and et cetera, to be brought to the forefront yet, because I know Trump's doing an investigation in Riot Inc. and all of that, but they don't want them to be spotted in the middle of all of this, even though we know that they're in the middle of all of this, instigating all of this chaos. And fomenting a color revolution in this country, which has been going on since 2020, since March of 2020.
Oh, gosh, it's been going on longer than that. It just became very apparent in 2020, I think, more so than it had ever been, with the rise of Antifa, the Summer of Love. So you're correct. But those people, they've always been there. Right?
I wanted to say that they don't want to... They don't want to be seen as the ones that are pushing all of this, because they want to always try to play the good guy and like, hey, we, for the reasonable folks, why are they sending in federal law enforcement? This is a local issue. Well, the local issue is that they are not doing anything about it. Matter of fact, they are so in bed with what is going on that they cannot be seen as corrupt, or they are going to end up losing their position of power like Waltz is currently doing. In order to keep his money funneling in and it being spread out to all of these NGOs and whatnot that are helping fund all the chaos behind the scenes.
Yeah, you have some representatives from Minnesota testifying today at the hearing. It's fascinating. How long has Governor Waltz been aware of this? Since day one. She took it all the way back to 2009. Now, let me tell you how long 2009 is. That's 18 years. How do I know that right off the top of my head without doing the math? Because that's when we went on air. In 2009. And April will be our 17th anniversary April 26th, April 27th this year begins our 18th year. So he's been aware of this since he's been governor. And now he's outed. So I don't suggest for 1 second, ladies and gentlemen, that this guy's on the up and up. They are seeking violence. They want violence. They have cheered violence. Now, Chuck Schumer today was out running his mouth, and we'll get to why this is so important to your gun rights in just a second. You already know the answer to this. Schumer was out today, and here he goes, back, reverting back. Are you sick and tired of them going back to the civil rights protests? Okay? Because that's all the Democrats do. Protest everything, even when it's violent. And they'll tell you, as Schumer did today, well, there's no place for violence. But protesting is all right. Get out there and protest, knowing damn good and well that that's going to be violent. He knows it. Now, it'd be nice to think that a sitting governor would say, hey, I don't want violence in my street. I'm going to pull the National Guard up to stop any violence. No, that was a direct challenge to the federal government. That was a direct challenge to ICE. He'd like to square them off against each other. And I'm here to tell you that none of that's going to age well for them, Greg. None of it. Now, let's tie this to gun rights. Guys, if you live anywhere near a big city in this country, you'd better be armed. I would highly recommend, I'd recommend you be armed anyway. But particularly if you have to drive through or move about any of these big Democrat-run cities. They hate your guts. They hate you. Someone shoots you in the neck, they're going to cheer for it. Oh, that's terrible to say. You don't know. Yeah, we do, because we saw it with our own eyes. We saw it with our own eyes. We heard it with our own ears. We watched the videos. We saw it. My daughter was a victim of a lunatic lefty. You remember that scenario just a few months ago when she was accosted eating at a Chipotle with one of her beautiful friends because she was wearing a Trump shirt. Yeah, guys, the Democrats are pushing this to a point where if you thought, oh, God, thank God Trump got in, he averted a civil war. And I think we've said that before on the program. Not anticipating just how bad these Democrats were going to continue to get. And it's going to get bad again, ladies and gentlemen, and I hope you're prepared for that. By that, I mean if you have to drive through a city, work in a city, walk through a city that's controlled by Democrats in some of these areas, and millions of you do, I would highly recommend that you remain armed and vigilant and keep your head on a swivel. We'll be back right after this. Don't go away. Guys, I was just telling Greg it's 75 degrees outside where I'm at. Studio's hot as a pistol. Greg, and then as soon as the sun drops later, right back down to cold. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we're pushing 80 over here, and it's going to be probably in the 40s or 50s tonight.
Yeah. No, that's this time of year. But I'm sick of it.
Hoodie in the morning, shorts in the afternoon.
I'm in a pair of jeans right now because it was chilly this morning, and now I'm in here sweating it. I'm like Andy. I like certain weather. I'm just not like Andy. I don't like cold, freezing, raining weather. To me, that's not fun.
No.
Once in a while, okay.
I think he does that to troll us. I can't believe that he actually likes that weather.
Oh, no, he does. I'll have a personal conversation with him on a Saturday, and you should see it up here, dude. It's snowing and 20 degrees. It's awesome. And I'm like, okay.
Ridiculous.
Ridiculous, I say. Just ridiculous. Greg, you can Google gun control with me live coming up after this break if you're so inclined.
Yeah, I did already. Just to have it ready for it when we go to it.
Don't tell me what's up there.
I shifted to another tab so I wouldn't be looking at it.
Okay. Semi-cheating. Fooling around, not yet cheating. Thinking about it. Wait, that's cheating, they say.
This segment is brought to you by Attorneys on Retainer. Get the only self-defense program for gun owners backed by a real law firm, the Attorneys for Freedom. Visit them online at attorneysonretainer.us. Welcome back.
Yeah, guys, here's my Attorneys on Retainer card if you're watching the show. If you're listening to it, just trust that I'm holding it up. And there's proof of that because you can go and watch it. See, I'm actually holding it up. Here it is. There it is. And this thing's the real deal, ladies and gentlemen. Honestly, I say this every day, and I'm going to keep saying this every day, but this is the most no-brainer purchase you can make. If you carry a gun, have this, particularly if you live behind the blue wall in one of those Democrat-run cities or have to traverse those cities at any given point in time. Make sure you have this. There's a lot of people out there that don't like you. This country's in a dangerous spot right now, ladies and gentlemen. It has been for a long time. But the Democrats are making that clearer and clearer every single day. Violence is an acceptable response to these people. Even from sitting governors who threaten military response. National Guard is military, ladies and gentlemen. But good heavens, bad people do bad things. And if that happens to you, it happened to me one time. Fortunately, it didn't go that far. But if it did, believe me, this is what I want in my pocket. Attorneysonretainer.us. Use the promo code AAR or visit attorneysonretainer.us/AAR and check out the website and all the great information that's there for you. It only went up by a couple bucks. So please take advantage of this. It's $37 a month. It was $35. It's $37. Those of you who got it at $35 are locked into 2030, I believe. Okay? Lock in the $37 because at some point in time it'll go up again. But nominal. But it will go up. So don't do that. Just get it. Attorneysonretainer.us and put a team of attorneys in your hip pocket. God forbid you ever need them. You have them. It's that simple. Make sure to visit all of our partners. Pick up a new holster from Crossbreed, by the way. My son just did that again the other day. Picked up another one. He says, hey, can you check with Crossbreed and see when they're going to ship it? I said, no, you can, though. You got a phone. They know you. Pick the phone up and call them. All right? Crossbreedholsters.com. It's real simple. Just go online. Pick something up really cool. There's discounts over there all the time. Bud's Gun Shop's got all kinds of stuff, including Crossbreed holsters at budsgunshop.com. Pick up some Heaven's Harvest food from Clayton Llewellyn and his family over there, okay? Patriots Relief. Make sure to pick up some of that stuff. Use it every single day. The stuff has worked wonders for me. It'll likely work wonders for you as well. So make sure to do that. All of our partners are available for you at armedamericanradio.com. And if you're like me now, you're drinking Blackout coffee, really good stuff, and hook up with Jared and everybody over there at Guns and Gadgets. Make sure to like and subscribe over there. We scratch each other's backs. That's what it's all about. Use whatever promo code you want. I don't care. Just get some. That's simple, okay? Same thing. Patriot Mobile, you can use Andy Hoosier's code if you want to do that. I don't care. Just get Patriot Mobile. Welcome back. Greg, let's move away from those buffoons over there. I'm sure they're going to give us a lot more to talk about throughout the remainder of the week. Let me Google gun control here, which Greg told us during the break that he already did that. He wasn't cheating because he did it and then he closed the browser. Let's Google it up and see what we got. Hochul targets ghost gun loopholes with new regulations. Does this woman ever stop?
No.
Good
Not at all.
heavens. Is it, every time there's a new legislative session, they find another new loophole, don't they?
Yeah, they find some kind of a way to just to write more ink on paper in order to infringe, or at least end up in court for the next 6 months to a year and a half while someone's fighting this, and then end up probably winning. And then she's like, "Well, we'll change a couple sentences, and then we'll go right back to court with it."
Yeah, BBC's got an article here about what. Yeah, guys, if you live in New York, you're no stranger to this. As Ryan Petty says, they never stop, and they're never going to. We don't even need to get past the headline. Are you shocked when you hear that headline? Hochul targets ghost gun loopholes. She's another one. All you got to do is look at her.
Yeah.
You don't see genuine in these people at all. At all. They're as fake as the day is long. Every single one of them share the same trait. It's mind-boggling. It really is. Fascinating, but it's mind-boggling. Or it's mind-boggling, but it's fascinating. Flip it either way. I don't care. You don't even have to go anymore in the headline for that, so we'll headline surf on that one. BBC's reporting Australia was seen as a world leader in gun control. Bondi Beach has exposed a more complicated reality. I'd like to say we should probably hold on to that one from the BBC. I'm going to lock that one down. I think we're going to go back to that one. But
I'm sure that one will pop back up for good use later on.
That one is going to pop. That's going to be an evergreen story, I think, for a long time. And when you have the BBC, which is vehemently anti-gun, well, there's a trick in the headline, the way it's written, too. If you're like me, ladies and gentlemen, you've studied these headlines just by being involved. We do it here because we have to. Australia was seen as a world leader in gun control. Bondi has exposed a more complicated reality. What do you suppose that complicated reality would be, Greg? Let's go here for just a second. Any idea?
The fact that people that want to do harm will still get guns.
Yeah, I don't see what's so complicated about that. What's the complicated reality? This was a BBC piece. Let's take a look at this. This is the first time I'm on this. It was a Sunday afternoon, April 1996, when a lone gunman, blah, 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 massacre almost 30 years ago led to its confiscation of guns. Over 650,000 guns were taken. Hundreds of thousands. And he says, let's see, there's a lot of similarities. Mr. Brown, who spent childhood summers in Bondi, still has family there. They're very public places frequented by tourists from around the nation and around the world. It's sickening, and I'm bitterly disappointed in our political system whereby the voices for tighter gun laws and public health aren't listened to until there's a major event like this. So here you've got somebody that, wanted more gun. Look, here's the problem. Just listening to that statement, this is clearly a guy sympathetic to gun control, who was probably really happy about their previous round of gun control until he realized that it doesn't work, and now is disappointed because he wants more gun control. What do you think the end all would be for this guy?
All guns completely eliminated.
Exactly. How hard
except
was
for
that?
Law enforcement. Yep.
Have we talked about this?
Absolutely. I mean, look at Venezuela when you want to talk about only the government has guns.
Yeah,
Look at what has been happening there.
You've now got anybody that's armed is controlling the streets, ladies and gentlemen, and that is precisely why the Democrats want you disarmed. Because if you're armed, you can fight back. Now, these people, you're using bad people as an example, but it's still an example. This is why they want themselves to have guns, so that they can continue to control the streets and not you. They are afraid of you being able to fight back because there are more of you than there are of them.
Well, and here's what would happen if a, air quotes, 1776 happened in Australia because enough PO'd people were able to get a hold of firearms and, do what they needed to do. They would be labeled as the insurrectionists, as the terrorists, as the ones that have taken control of government, when really they're just returning the power back to their people so that they can have the life that they want to have again.
Yeah, and what's interesting here is, we're going to get cut off, but
Yes, we are.
Yeah, part of what they're saying at the BBC, why it's so complicated, I'll say this as we go to the break, go to the end of the hour. Despite being praised for its stringent gun laws, praised by who? American gun grabbers? The English?
Every town?
Everybody who's had their guns confiscated that doesn't mind it is who is praising it, okay? But gun ownership is still at a quote-unquote record high in Australia. Now, we don't have enough time to dig into that. It's kind of a paradox. I wish we did. But like I said, this story's not going anywhere. This is pretty evergreen. We might go back into this tomorrow. Queensland has the most registered guns, followed by New South Wales. And the report apparently dispels a common view that guns are mainly owned by rural residents, widespread in metropolitan and suburban areas with 1 in 3 firearms located in major cities. The total figure has risen. And all of this, let me say it this way, none of this matters. Because terrorists will always get guns, period. And they know that. Why they don't want you to be armed? Mind-boggling until you understand why they don't want you to be armed. We're going to get up and do it again tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen. Enjoy your day. Stay safe. We'll see you on the radio. Thanks for being here.
You just filled your prescription for freedom with Mark Walters. Presented by the National Rifle Association. The National Rifle Association on the Armed American Radio Network.
All right, guys, thanks for tuning in today. Appreciate it very much. We have a lot of work to do today and tonight before we get back on the air with you tomorrow. Who knows what's going to pop up between now and then, but we'll cover it. Greg in Dallas, Texas, thank you for everything today. Appreciate it very much. I'm not sure. We're working on the schedule for tomorrow, and I'm not sure if we're going to have with Danielle Buck. I don't know, because the holidays kind of screwed everything up. But we'll see tomorrow if we have Danielle Buck on. If we do, we'll have her on for a half an hour. And we're going to try to bring Neil McCabe in here, who is now with One America's Voice, I believe. So a lot of interesting stuff to tell you about Neil, too. He was too busy today because he had a meeting about his position there as a reporter. But nonetheless, we'll be back live for you tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen, 4 o'clock Eastern, 1 o'clock Pacific time. You can do the math in between those time zones and figure it out where you are. Enjoy your day. Until then, stay safe, and we'll see each and every one of you on the radio tomorrow. Same bat time, same bat channel. Stay safe out there, folks.